Here's my audience. The name of my speech is called Our Plastic World. So everything that I'm going to be talking about has to do with plastic pollution. Plastic in all forms, straws, bottles, packaging, plastic bags, are choking our planet. That was said by former Governor Jerry Brown. During World War II, plastic was important due to it being used to insulate radars, and it was used to create synthetic rubber for tires. During the time and thereafter, production increased by 300%, specifically with nylon, spandex, and Kevlar. Since the 1950s, about 8.3 billion tons of plastic has been produced worldwide, according to the BBC. That's as heavy as 1 billion elephants, or 25,000 Empire State Buildings.
Wow.
So it's just a lot of plastic is basically killing our Earth. So what is plastic? Plastic was originally meant to be as pliable and easily shaped. Plastic is basically just chains of molecules linked together. These chains are called polymers, and that's why plastic starts with the word poly, such as polyethylene, polystyrene, and polypropylene. Polymers are often made of carbon, hydrogen, and sometimes oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, chlorine, fluorine, phosphorus, and silicone. So important facts and some background behind it. Bakelite was the first fully synthetic plastic. During World War II, plastic was utilized in new ways, and more synthetics were created after the war. Plastic production increased by 300%. Again, since the 1950s, around 8.3 billion of plastic has been produced worldwide. About 2 million plastic bags are used every minute. Worldwide, 73% of the world's beaches has litter of specifically plastic on them. And then plastic pollution doesn't only impact water quality. The microplastics can also be found in air, dust, and even our food. So plastic production. Most plastics are made with additives as they are processed into a fully finished product. These additives are used to manipulate their mechanical, physical, and chemical properties. The production of plastic uses around 8% of the world's oil production. And then there are 4 different ways that you can produce plastic. And those are extrusion, injection molding, blow molding, and rotational molding. And so there's different types of plastics. The 2 classes that there are going to be thermoplastics and thermosets. Thermoplastics are made to be changed, melted, or turned into something else, such as polyethylene, polypropylene, nylon, and polycarbonate. Thermosets are made into products right away where they can't be melted down or changed into anything else, and some of those are going to be polyethylene, terephthalate, polyvinyl chloride, and then polypropylene. The threats of plastic. About 3 million tons of plastic is produced each year, and half of it is being used once and then thrown away. The average time of plastic bag is used for just about 12 minutes. Over the last 50 years, plastic production worldwide has doubled. The average person eats about 70,000 microplastics each year. Extraction of the natural resources needed to produce plastic has no negative impacts, such as cancer, neurotoxicity, reproductive and development toxicity, and impairment to the immune system. So the state of pollution, specifically in our oceans and our water supply. 90% of plastic polluting our oceans is carried from 10 different rivers. There is an estimated 5 trillion pieces of plastic in our ocean. 44% of all seabirds, 22% of cetaceans, and all sea turtles, and a growing list of fish have been documented with plastic in their bodies. Marine life gets tangled in plastic or mistakes the plastic for food, and that can lead to starvation and even suffocation of the animals. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is the largest example of plastic pollution. It's 2 times the size of Texas, and there are 6 times as much plastic than other sea life in the ocean. The state of pollution for specifically the land. Plastic pollution can be found at every beach worldwide. Only 9% of plastic gets recycled. Countries like Canada, the United States, and the UK export their plastic waste. Beneath each of the thousands of landfills in the United States, chemicals from plastic drainage and they seep into the soil, and it makes it toxic. So that if all of the plastic from the landfills is just sitting there, and it's sitting there for thousands of years, the soil's never going to be as pure as it once was.
Right.
So my conclusion, despite plastic being one of the most widely used materials, the nature, origins, and use of the plastics, they still remain poorly known or understood by most people. The history behind plastic consumer use and the current state of plastic needs to become a public knowledge in order for the problem to have a viable solution.